Welcome to Comadres y Comics. Comadres y Comics is a podcast hosted by 3 Latina women.
We highlight the Latinx presence in the comic book industry as creators, characters, and fans.
Join us as we talk chisme, comics, fandom, and beer. Hi, welcome to a new episode of Comadres y Comics. This is episode 260. We are your hosts. I'm Sarah.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jen.
I had to think about who I was.
I know who you are. Do you know who you are? I mean, seriously?
She might not.
A pause.
I got thrown off because you never say hi. And I'm like, it didn't sound right. It was all wrong. And so I got distracted.
Okay, so the reason it's all crazy right now is because we're recording at 8 in the morning on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And I am seriously hungover. I'm drinking coffee, but it's doing nothing. I did eat a burrito, chorizo burrito, so hopefully that absorbs some stuff.
It does sound good.
Yeah. No, yesterday I was at a party at my friends, and my friends they do a lot of like 3D printing of like stuff for parties. And also they just got a printer to print like super large stickers. So they ended up printing like a Mediterranean tile floor for their party that was themed Mamma Mia. And it was glorious. It was awesome. They had a bunch of like mirrored balls everywhere. They had little on their drinks. They had the little, what do you call those little things? Like not garnishes, but like little like
the little toothpick things,
but with the theme.
Okay.
It was super cute. They went all out. They even 3D printed on the coconuts, the name and the party and everything on the coconuts.
That's cool.
I'm like,
that sounds really cool.
They're on a different level as far as party. They really like a lot of what makes these parties that they throw really awesome is because they really go all out on the details of their parties, and it was just really awesome. They had a DJ, they had open bar, guys. Not cool for Sarah, no. And then the bartender would come out with the tray full of shots for everybody as they were dancing. It was over the top. It was great. I had a really fantastic time dancing, singing, and it was just great. We danced to Funky Town. We danced to Do You Remember? Anyway, I think it's called September. Just a really myriad of music style choices, including like really old music. Like even there were some people that their parents were there and they danced to this music. It was really like old music, like super awesome. And then we were like singing along to Mamma Mia, Here I Go Again, hey, hey. It was great. Just a really great time, like really anyway, so I ended up spending the night there, and then I was like, I gotta get on an Uber because we gotta record.
Your dedication is noted.
Yes, I definitely was like, no, I gotta get home because I gotta record. I gotta be here for the ladies. I've already committed. What about you guys? I know, Kristen, you started doing your leggers, right, in Santa Monica. You're running.
Yes. So the beginning of the season was 3 weeks ago. We start at 2 miles. We do preseason like intro where you go and do a timed mile, and then the very next week is the opening of the season. It's 2 miles, and so this week we were only at 4, but it was so hot yesterday. It's so humid here in the LA area. I think all of California, it freaking rained in Hanford yesterday. That's how humid it is here.
Wow.
Thanks, Al Gore. But anyway, I was so completely wiped out after that. We had an event after at the local Roadrunners shop, where they did like a shoe clinic and they had prizes and stuff and special sales. And so we did that, and then we ate. We went to breakfast slash lunch. So by the time I got home, it was actually like almost 3, 4 o'clock, and I was so wiped out as I got up at 4. And because of the heat, all I did was lay on the couch after taking a shower. Excuse me, taking a shower, and I think I was asleep by 7.
Said I'm out. I'm done.
Yes. So, but it was a good day yesterday.
I thought it was really interesting how you were telling me about the fact that a lot of people that are starting off running were vomiting.
Yes, we had some vomiters and some passer outers. On the run yesterday, because when you're new to running, you don't really have the experience in different types of weather of how to prepare for that. And so people who don't have experience running in heat don't really know what does and doesn't work for them. And it's some people also who are experienced could also make the mistake of being like, it's only 4 miles. So we had a person who apparently threw up because, like, I don't know if they pushed too hard or what, but it can really wreak havoc. The weather can wreak havoc on your run, whether it's raining or too cold and you're not dressed properly, or it's too hot. And for me, the heat is really, really the worst of all of the conditions. But my first marathon was in Hawaii during June. So I have a lot of experience with humidity and hot weather running. And so, but still, it affected me where I was just tired all day. So.
Wow, that's crazy. I was just talking to one of the party goers yesterday, and she and her boyfriend went to Jalisco, and her family took her to a waterfall, but the waterfall was located 100 steps up and then 100 steps down. So what happened to her is that she went up quite okay, but coming down she blew up both her knees, and so they were like super swollen.
Ooh.
Yes, so like yeah, definitely try to get some steps in, guys, because if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it.
It's
Yep.
true.
And she's a freaking dancer. She does these really great bachata moves and everything. And I was really shocked that she blew up both her knees.
Yeah.
And I totally saw it. Like, she didn't dance as much last night and had flats on for she never had flats on. She always has cute little heels or whatever. But yeah, like, dude, I was really kind of shocked. Yeah, so I felt bad for her because she loves dancing. So if you don't
Ugh.
use it, you lose it, guys.
The knees are terrible too to have problems with, and a lot of people as they get older have knee problems, and it's such a strain on you because it's your mobility. And you know, when I broke my ankle, I didn't realize what torture it was to not be able to just get up and walk around like I wanted to. So that sucks. Hopefully, tell her ice is the miracle drug.
Oh no, she's been icing a lot. So yeah, so I felt really bad for her though. For me, I felt she was really active. I mean, she's a great dancer, bachata, cumbias. Like, she's amazing. Like, her and her boyfriend, they take classes together and they look amazing on the dance floor. So I really am shocked that she blew out both her knees going up and down some stairs. So yeah, so now I'm scared. Yeah. What about you, Jen? What's been going on with you, lady? I know you just had a birthday.
Yes, I did. I just went to San Francisco, went to go get like clam chowder, spent a lot of money on a very nice on a very nice piece of jewelry that I really like. But it was a very chill day for me. I'm just like, when I think about like organizing like either a party or like trying to get like my group of friends, which probably not the best idea. Some friend groups are never meant to interact.
Oh
Honestly,
wow,
Yeah.
honestly,
I have
yes.
experienced that and it was horrible.
Yeah. And
Where there
so
was one
Oh.
friend who had two different friend groups and she
mhm,
tried to bring them together and it did not work.
did not work. Yeah.
I
And so
tried to
I,
get two guys together that I thought were gonna be great, and it just was like the weirdest night of my life.
oil and water. Yeah. Yeah. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna. I've never had an issue doing things by myself, so I was just like, I'm just gonna go by myself. Go buy myself something nice. Go eat like something that I think is really nice, which is clam chowder in a bread bowl.
Yes.
um, um, and it's things have been life is going. Um, um, I've been riding my bike more because I finally got it fixed. Only to like literally like I think like 1 week in, a piece of glass went right through my tire. Yeah.
Oh
And
no.
then I had to walk from one bike repair shop, which then did not have the inner tube that I needed,
Oh
to another
no.
bike repair shop. And so my journey home got an hour added to it. And I was just like, I hate this right here. Good thing I don't have anything to
Uh,
do afterwards. Cause yeah, no, I was
Whenever
just
I
like,
hear about you and your bike, I just picture your tragic accident that you had when you went over the handlebars almost into the ditch.
wait, which one?
Oh no. There
What?
was one
What?
where you said that you were going down a hill and there was a sharp turn and you didn't make the
Oh,
turn and you
yeah.
almost went into the river or
Yeah,
something.
I did almost go into the river. Yes.
Yeah.
We're better about that now. We no longer go speeding down down hills that we can't see where they end up at. But
I'm
I
glad
do
to
be,
hear it.
yeah. But I'm getting more confident with going fast again. So
Okay.
we'll see. We'll see. I may still end up in the Guadalupe riverbank.
Oh no. Yeah, no, bike is cycling is something else for sure. Like
No,
uh
there's some people like they've got the skinny bikes, and like
Yeah.
I'm on the trail. I'm like, I think I'm going fast. They are zooming,
Yeah.
like they are speeding. I'm just all like, okay, Mr. Freeway, like goddamn, like where you gotta
Yeah.
go?
As a runner by the beach, we share a lot of the same paths.
Mm-hmm.
And they just come out of freaking nowhere with no
Yeah.
regard. And it's just like, I've almost been run over by a biker multiple times
Mm-hmm.
in Santa Monica. And so, yeah, they go super, super fast.
Yeah, and like I get it when on the trial, and there's like no since the trail is by like a very large homeless encampment. There's
Mm.
not actually a lot of runners. There's a lot of people on bikes going to and from. Some of them going to and from the homeless encampment, but in general, like you can go fast because there's
Yeah.
nobody really walking. But there are certain points in time of the day where there are people, but they still be zooming. They still be zooming. Mhm.
oh, absolutely. Gosh. I got to get my bike fixed too. Like
It's
I
a good
remember
way of keeping your knees mobile.
yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
No, and I remember my legs were like super beautiful when I was
Mm.
cycling to work. I was like, "Oh my god, look at this. I can wear heels. My legs look amazing." Whatever. Anyway, but yes, honestly, one time I did park my bike outside my work building, and when I came out, both my tires were flat. Somebody somebody just thought it would be funny to just fuck with my life.
Oh, that sucks.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I was it really hurt me. I'm just like, why are people such assholes? Like just random acts of violence. Like you chose violence today and you fuck with my day, and now I
Mhm.
have to pay extra to have my tires fixed.
Mm.
And I didn't
Mhm.
even get to the bike shop on time from the bus because they closed at I think at 5:30. It was, yeah, I'll never forget that. I thought that was just like so unnecessary to
Yeah.
bust up both my tires. Like, this is my livelihood, fucker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just it just hurt my feelings.
Oh yeah, no, I was lucky to like I had just gotten paid, so like I could afford
Yeah.
the hit, but at the
That's
same
another
time I
thing.
was
Yeah.
just so like fuck. And you're telling me if I had a car and something like this happened, it would be more expensive? Nah.
Yep.
Nah. I'll stick with public transportation and my bike.
One
Like
flat tire is like 300 fucking bucks if you need to get a whole new tire. And then they tell you, you need to replace them all at the
Oh
same
yeah,
time.
yeah.
kiss my ass.
And I'm like, no, I don't.
Absolutely. No, I fucking don't.
And it's actually more expensive to buy just one instead of like a set. And that's just
Oh,
fucked up. I don't understand it. And sometimes they don't even have the tire you need for your specific car.
I'm
Ugh.
about to cry right now. I just got a fucking cramp in my leg. And
No.
it's because I'm dehydrated from yesterday. Eddie brought me water, but I fell asleep before I drank it all. And I just was stretching my leg and it started to
Water.
cramp up. And not as bad as I've had in some time, but okay, it's going away.
Dude, bananas I hear are good for that.
The potassium, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, that's all to say. Let us start with Chisme de la Semana. What do you have for us today, Kristen?
More upset and upheaval in the comic book industry these days. And this time
Ooh.
it's coming out about a company called Cadence Comic Art. So basically, Cadence Comic Art is a company that is owned by an art dealer, Paolo Belfiore, and he specializes in selling original artwork by comic creators with whom they often sign exclusive deals. And he also covers individual commissions, convention appearances, and more with these artists. Well,
Mm-hmm.
basically, in February of last year, so that's February 2024, a number of those comic book creators announced that they would no longer be represented by Cadence Comic Art. And it comes out that 17 of those creators that came out to say that have filed a lawsuit against Cadence Comic Art Incorporated and its owner. And they are accusing the company and Paolo of systematically defrauding them out of hundreds of thousands of dollars through unreported sales, unauthorized commissions, and failure to return unsold artwork. So some of the artists you may recognize, Becky Cloonan is on the list, Alessandro Capuccio, Elena Casagrande, Mahmoud Asrar, Joel Jones, Raphael Albuquerque, Tyler Crook, Jill Thompson. So those are some of the names that actually are on this lawsuit. And I mean,
Those
a
are
lot of
some
them are
big
very,
names.
very, big names in the cover art industry of comic books and also interior, but a lot of them are recognized as cover artists. So the complaint that they filed earlier this month in the Southern District of New York alleges egregious misconduct and reprehensible conduct, and that Cadence Comic Art systematically deceived and defrauded these artists out of substantial sums of money, and that they flagrantly violated their fiduciary and statutory obligations under New York's arts and cultural affairs law. So the artist claimed that Belfiore and his gallery were misappropriating hundreds of thousands of dollars through unreported sales, unauthorized commissions, improper deductions, and other deceptive practices, and that they failed to provide accurate accounting statements and secretly sold numerous works for which it received in excess of $473,000. The gallery and the dealer in particular failed to disclose to the artist that these sales and transfers were made and refused to respond to repeated requests for information regarding the status of the artwork. Also, Cadence Comic Arc secretly transferred artwork for which it received cash or forms of consideration. And so the gallery and the dealer in particular failed to disclose to the artist that these transfers were made and refused to respond to repeated requests for information regarding the status of this artwork. The defendants never paid to artists their share of agreed upon retail value for these artworks. So there's a bunch of just crazy stuff going on. And you know what it makes me think? It makes me think that people just really undervalue or
Artists?
delegitimize comic book creators. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, you're not for real. You're not a true artist, or I don't know. That's just the vibe I get from all this shit that's going on in the industry right now. Diamond keeping shit and selling it and not paying the publishers. And publishing companies, period, over the last few years, not paying their creators. And a lot of that comes from not having the money to do it. So it's really convoluted. But I also just don't understand how these people think they can get away with it. So, yeah. So comic book creators and artists in particular in this lawsuit are really going through it these days.
Yeah, no,
That's
definitely.
horrible. That's horrible.
And it's like, it also reminds me of just like there is like actual, I think there was like a documentary made about how like galleries are some of the most like fraud heavy places.
Really?
Yeah, because like a lot of money laundering goes through them, like sus activities and stuff like that, them frauding or like defrauding like their artists and stuff like that. So it's like a problem. But it's also like one of the oldest ways to like showcase art as well. There's a reason galleries are still a thing, because it's how you get like an artist's name out there, especially in a place like New York, that's known for all of their galleries and stuff like that. So, damn, I hope they win their lawsuit.
Yeah, they were always going to gallery showings on Sex and the City.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah, just recently.
For the free wine and cheese.
Yeah, I think the last one I went to was in Culver City, and it was David Mack and Clive Barker. And I thought I was going to meet Clive Barker, and no, he was not at the gallery showing. But yeah, no, it's and you're right, Jen. It's like a lot of notoriety. Am I saying it right?
Notoriety, yeah.
Yeah, and it's sad that they take advantage of artists, the creative community, because it takes a lot to stand by your art and keep creating. And even though like you're not going anywhere, you're just putting out stuff and nobody's really even recognizing it. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of dedication and a lot of discipline. And I find that it's so sad when they get taken advantage of like this. It's not fair, especially when you're trying to create art and trying to put something wonderful out in the world, and then getting taken advantage of. It's just a sad thing. Very sad. All right, guys, it's now time for On My Radar. What is on your radar, Kristen?
On my radar this week, as you know, every time we have book club, I always share the book that we read, because it is so clearly on my radar because I just read it. But this one actually ties into the Fantastic Four movie. I finally went to go see the Fantastic Four movie, I think 2 weekends ago, maybe. I don't think it was last week. Maybe it was. Who knows? But I was so extremely bored out of my mind. Don't come for me. That is just my personal opinion. I've never been a Fantastic Four fan per se. Any time that during the time that I was actively reading comics every week, there wasn't really any Fantastic Four titles that were coming out, and so I didn't really have anything to go off of. But the things that I did read, like during book club or whatever, it just wasn't really like anything that got me excited about any of the characters.
It wasn't engaging enough.
Yeah, and so we went to go see this movie. I had enough of background information to kind of know like who the characters were and what was going on. But I was just bored. So we had chosen Fantastic Four Life Story as our book for this month, directly connected to the fact that Fantastic Four movie was being released prior, and we wanted to read the book and do some comparisons. And so this book is on my radar this week because I highly recommend this book over the movie.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
It's written by Mark Russell, and Mark Russell actually is a very, very engaging writer. He's written things that he writes books that a lot of times have commentary on society as a whole. Like he's done Not All Robots, which is a great book about how robots have taken over society, but at the end of the day they're suffering the same bullshit as the humans are on the other side. And the robots kind of want to rise up and kill humans and blah blah blah. But so that's where the Not All Robots title of the book comes in. But it's very funny. He's also done something else, a few other things that are kind of similar like that, where it's like allegory on, you know, social issues that are happening currently. But Fantastic Four Life Story is a book that basically is a story that is told of all four characters in chronological order, and it follows them from when the space race happens, you know, where we're trying to get into space before the Russians, all the way through till present day. And it follows the heroes as they go through just the changing world of like, there's a point where Sue is out marching for women's rights and really gets involved in like being an advocate and grassroots organizations for that kind of thing. And then also Reed becomes obsessed with Galactus. And then of course Doom is involved in this whole story. And the cool thing about this storyline was that I think they said that Dr. Doom was Reed's college roommate or something in this story, and so he comes back and they start working together, and of course Doom is just Doom and taking advantage of Reed's smartness and knowledge and all that kind of stuff for his own end. But each decade, I think there's 6 issues, and each decade is told by a different Fantastic Four member. And then there's also an issue that is told through Franklin's eyes. So Sue and Reed's son. And I can't remember, the other one may have gone back to Sue or whatever. But the cool thing about this book compared to the movie was that it really, not really focused on, but one of the major plot points of the ongoing was that Sue was really, because she got involved with women's rights and stuff like that, really was like, you know what, I'm not taking your bullshit anymore, Reed. And it actually shows in this story where she leaves him. And and she goes and actually lives with Namor for some time and is in a relationship with him. And so I appreciated that because I really felt like the movie glossed over that part of their relationship, and it kind of hinted at it. But I mean, I feel like it's a big part of both of those characters' development and overall arching story. And we didn't really get a lot of that in the book, or I'm sorry, in the movie. So I loved that in the book they kind of dealt with it a little bit more, and they also gave Sue some cojones.
Yeah.
So, on my radar is Fantastic Four Life Story by Mark Russell. The book came out in 2022, so it's been out for 3 years now. And it does actually look, if you've seen the movie, that there are a lot of storyline and plot points taken from this book. And it actually takes us all the way, again, to present day, where all of the characters are older and dealing with, age and retiring from being a superhero and stuff like that. And I find that also really interesting too. The humanity of superheroes always kind of strikes a chord with me, and I like reading those kinds of stories. So definitely check this book out. And if you are a member of your local library and they have access to Hoopla, you can read it for free on Hoopla.
Ooh, nice. I'm gonna have to read that. That sounds really, really interesting. I never did much reading of the Fantastic Four at all. Besides the movie with Jessica Alba as
Yeah.
so it'd be really interesting. But I've heard a lot of people kind of like really emphasize on how Reed Richards really did not treat Sue very well at all during a lot of the history of the Fantastic Four. So this sounds super interesting. All right, guys, now it's time for our book review. What are we reviewing today?
So today we are reviewing Death to Pachuco.
It's our friend of the podcast, Henry Barajas.
Oh,
Barajas. I love his last name because it's like Barajas in Spanish means like playing cards, but there's no actual word for it in English.
Playing cards?
Yes, como barajas. So when you play, vamos a jugar barajas. Like,
Is it an actual specific game?
That
is it like playing spades?
I don't know about an actual game. I should ask actually. But no, it's I wonder what kind of game, but it always reminds me of the deck with the big the coins. They almost look like Greek coins on the deck instead of spades and
Okay.
and
Okay.
hearts and stuff. So it reminds me of
Tarot cards? That reminds me of tarot cards.
I'm gonna. They sell them at like if you go to like meat markets, like Latino meat markets, like Latino markets, they always have those barajas.
Really?
For sale, like at the counter and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You know
Neither
what?
did
I should
I.
buy one and then like gift Henry the deck. But
Yeah.
not before showing you guys what it looks like. Yeah. Anyway, so what are we reviewing today, Jen?
We are reviewing Death to Pachuco by Henry Barajas. Sorry. But and the artist, hold on, I should be so much better prepared for this.
The artist, well, what interested me is that Henry is just not the writer, but he was also the co-designer and the letterer. When Eddie was looking for somebody to be on a panel that he was proposing for Comic-Con about lettering, he did a basic post online saying, hey, this is the panel I'm doing, and if you know anybody who does A, B, C, D, whatever, or those barajas, they look like tarot cards.
Okay.
And Henry said, I can do all of these things. I've done all of these things. And I was like, I had no idea that he was a letterer. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
And he's credited on this book as the letterer as well. And then they have the colorist who is Lee Loughridge. And the editor is Will Dennis.
Henry. The art direction by Rachel Merrill.
Yes, yes.
So we were at a panel that Henry was part of, and he had an ash can of Death to Pachuco, and we requested an extra copy to send to Jen, but I didn't get around to sending it. But then Henry gifted us a PDF to review on our podcast. It's colored and everything. It's really nice.
It's an artist proof, a advanced copy, reader copy, and I follow him on his newsletter. I subscribe to his newsletter. You can also do so, and he came out last week, maybe the week before, I don't remember, saying that he was willing to send copies to news outlets and podcasts to an advanced copy of it for reviews. So I immediately messaged him right away and said, hey, we'd love to have a copy so that we can review it. So
give up the goods, Henry.
Sent it to us immediately. So the synopsis of Death to Pachuco is that it is a gritty Chicano noir miniseries that's due to come out in October, written by Henry and art by Rachel, and the colorist is Lee Loughridge. It's published by Image in collaboration with Top Cow. It's set in Los Angeles during the summer of 1943, during the aftermath of the Sleepy Lagoon murder and escalating tensions leading to the Zoot Suit riots, which is a critical chapter of racial conflict and cultural suppression in Los Angeles. At the heart of the story, Private Eye Ricardo Ricky Tellez, a Chicano detective who's the last hope for justice in a deeply divided city. Carlos Urbano's murder stirs violent clashes between Navy servicemen and Mexican-American youths. A racist mob intensifies the hunt, not just for the killer, but for anyone associated with that community. Racing against this charged mob and failing institutions, Tellez must uncover the Sleepy Lagoon killer before being consumed by the chaos.
Well, ever since I started reading this book, and you know that before this, we read Poe Noir, where I learned about the Chavez Ravine. And reading this book, I've come across a lot of TikToks explaining the neighborhood of Boyle Heights and how it used to be land owned by Mexicans in a Mexican community. And how it was taken over by a Blanquito, and all this information that I did not even know existed. So just reading this book alone has like propelled me to learn more about my community before, when it was like owned by Mexicanos, and how it's been whitewashed, and history that it's not even taught in schools anymore. So I was like completely thrown aback about all the information that I have come across just by reading this book, and learning more about the community. And it's just the first issue, by the way.
Yeah, it's a 5-issue limited series. It's going to be launching October 8th. And he actually has at the end of the advanced copy pictures of all of the variant covers that are going to be available too. So if you really enjoy the kind of like 40 style Chicano vibe, a lot of these covers really depict that, and they're all Latino creators, I believe, as I'm looking through the list of that was shown to us, and mostly probably names that you all will recognize. But I thought that they were amazing, really cool covers and really cool art that they're having for all of the variants. So at the end of the book that we got, the advanced copy, there were all the variant covers for issue 1 and issue 2 that we were shown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also I didn't realize that there was like a big kind of like controversy about wearing a suit during that era, because they were trying to uh, save the wool for the soldiers. Like, I didn't know there was a wool shortage that was only like targeted for the soldiers' uniforms because of the cold. And because suits I guess have some wool in them, it was almost un-American to wear a suit and disregard the soldiers. Like, it was kind of like not only a controversy, but it just seemed like if you wore a suit, then you were un-American in a sense. And
Well, I
thought
honestly
that
feel like that's just made up shit because the only people who wore zoot suits were brown.
that's what I'm
And
saying.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, so they just made that shit up of you're being an American and we get to fucking beat you up now and honestly kill you because of it. They were already seen as un-American because they were brown. So it was just legitimizing racism, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of things that I didn't know I knew that kind of like were bubbling up to the surface as I read this comic. What about you guys?
I'm always like taken away by just how much research Henry does. Because it's a lot of this stuff, and you kind of learn if you ever take a Chicano history class, or just like a Chicano class. We cover the zoot suits, the what it means, like what a Pachuco is and stuff like that. And like the Chavez Ravine, like Boyle Heights, Bunker Hill, and all the history of Latinos in Los Angeles and how it's always been tied with the violence from the LAPD. Then there's a reason why no brown person trusts the LA fucking PD, because it's been not even since the 40s. It's been before the 40s. The inception of the LAPD is uniquely tied to the patrolling of brown bodies. That is the honest truth. And if you do any kind of research, you will know that has always been. There's a reason we don't like the LAPD, and we never will like the LAPD because of this institution of violence that has been sustained and that has not been ever been like regulated to some extent. And they might say now that like, oh, we're trying to get rid of the gangs and stuff like that, but it's such, unless you completely redo the LAPD, the CHP, the entire way that policing is done, it's never going to change. Wow, I did not know I had that right in me. It makes me mad anytime I think about it. Actually, I have very deep and complicated thoughts about the LAPD and what it is that they do in that. But as I was reading this, I love noir. And like sometimes the like stereotypes make me like roll my eyes a little bit, but I really, really, really just love like how like the artwork looks, how everybody dresses, how they talk. Even in the beginning of the comic, there is like a little disclaimer. This comic reads like it was written in the 1940s. There's going to be language you're not going to like, see, sexist stuff, racist stuff, lots of hot stuff you can't say or do these days. Readers for whom this kind of language is triggering or hurtful should be advised. I also like the little addendum, no generative AI was used in the making of this comic book. The letter artist probably uses fonts by Comic Craft, and then they have the comic book fonts listed on there. It reads like I really enjoyed a lot of it because it is like real history tied up in the noir genre, which is so LA. Like, if I don't know if it's like a myth or not, or if it's just like a thing, but like noir was invented by LA. Like, there's a reason it's a whole genre. LA noir is like that's when you think about a dirty, grimy city and like a private investigator, like a rough and tumble like cop. That's Los Angeles. That's
and the femme fatale.
Yeah, and the femme fatale, that's all LA, baby.
Yes.
And it's just like the barrios and everything like that. I love the mix of Spanglish and stuff like that, and just how
Oh yes.
everything is so tied together. Um and like even like seeing like him like going to like Chavez Ravine, it fills me with uh I wasn't born when Chavez Ravine, like when I was born, Chavez Ravine was gone already, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dodger Stadium was like already set up. My parents hadn't even immigrated here when like Chavez Ravine was like torn down. And it always hit me with an incredible kind of irony that the LA Dodgers has so many Latino fans and such a strong
Mhm.
Latino support base, when we know that where it is used to be a very, very like
Successful and prominent Latino community.
Latino community, yeah. And they were all displaced, and that's how East Los was built. That's how South Central was built. But and in like Boyle Heights and stuff like that. Same thing with Bunker Hill, and how that also that entire uh the entire hill, yeah, was a Latino community, a black and brown community that was torn down for the Los Angeles skyline TV, that which is like a very prominent skyline, in that I always, whenever I'm like flying in and I see it, I'm just like, oh my god, home. But at the same time, I know what was taken for it to be
Yeah.
made. And I loved it. I loved reading it. Uh I think Henry really did a great job with it.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Like Boyle Heights used to be called Paredon Blanco before it was acquired by Un Blanquito that
Mhm.
then was renamed Boyle Heights. So this book for me has propelled me to learn more about my community and where I grew up in, and what it meant before it was acquired by white people.
Mhm.
Sorry, white people, but yes,
Sorry, white people.
I do.
sorry, white people.
I'm
I mean,
not. We
I
know who
don't
the villain here is.
want. Yeah, it's your ancestors. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um, all, but I also have to say that I was taken a little bit out of the story a little bit, just because growing up, for instance, Bato wasn't with the B, it was with the V as in Victor, and Pinche. My mom used to say Pinche all the time. It was with a P instead of a B. So I went online and looked up the words, because I thought maybe there was a error in spelling, but actually it's spelled in both ways. So I'm just wondering, in the 1940s or 30s, perhaps it was prominent to say it with the B as in boy instead of V as in Victor, and a B instead of a P.
Interesting. I
So
didn't think about that because I also got annoyed with it. I wasn't
yes.
just taken out of the story, I was annoyed. And I'm sorry, Rocio. I'm so happy that there was a Spanish proofreader on this book. I hope that becomes more of a widespread job title for people to be able to be hired to do this kind of thing on books where Spanish language is appropriate to be in the dialogue. But Rocio, you missed some accents, and the vato vato thing annoyed me, and I hope that that is the case, that that was what was normal and natural in the 40s.
Mhm.
And there was a point in time where I was reading the book, and I'm reading, and then it said Simon, like with exclamation, and I literally was like, who the fuck is Simon? And I'm like going back into the story, and I'm like, Simon. I'm like, well, who is Simon? And then I reread the text, and I'm like, is this supposed to say Simon? Like, that's
Simon,
two
well,
words. That's two words, not one. And I was just like annoyed with some of those things. And I'm sorry to be nitpicky, but like grammar and like all of those kinds of, and I get that the V in Spanish makes the B sound, but the word is still spelled with a V. That is just how it's spelled.
Well,
I'm like trying to remember.
Pronunciation does not override spelling unless, and I get that that's what it sounds like, and maybe comic book rules are different. That you write it the way it sounds because that's how it sounds. Tell me, educate me, comment on our post and let me know. Because if that's the truth, I'd love to know that.
Because honestly, like you know how we say way, pinche way, way. Eres un puto way. And it's spelled now GUE, but with the U with the little dots on top, right? But for a long time before that, it was boy with the B as in boy, way. So I feel like that's the thing here. Like it was,
and 100% definitely could be, because language, just like anything else, evolves. And Spanish is a language that came from a different language, and then as conquests happen and colonization happened, other languages came and it got some influence and words changed. And so that 100% could be the situation here.
Because I googled it and it said vato can be also spelled with the B, so just depending on who's writing it. Like it's a slang so like street that there is no actual correct spelling, I guess. It just yes, but I grew up with the V as in Victor and the P as in Paul, and Pinchy way.
Yeah.
No, mames way. Also, there's a movie I think called Vatos Locos with the V as in Victor. But again, it could have been like in the 30s. It could have been spelled with the B, like way y bue. It's a totally different spelling in different eras. So, and if he's true to form, then I'm just like, Henry, thanks for teaching me something new that I didn't know.
But again, I'm very, very appreciative and very impressed that there was a Spanish proofreader here in the book. I mean, obviously, if you're going to write in Spanish, you need someone who knows Spanish to be able to make sure you're doing it right. So I love that not only did that exist, but she got credit for it, and her name was just as prominently put up there in the credits under everybody else's.
But one of the things I really enjoyed about the story is the multiple use of Spanglish. I mean, you got English and Spanish, and that's actually how I grew up speaking. Like, as I've grown older, I've been able to do the Spanish and do the English separately, but I do miss being able to do it both Spanglish. Like, and I know with you guys I can do it, like I'm more comfortable with it, but in my everyday work life, I definitely have to differentiate. I'm speaking in English, I'm speaking in Spanish. But with you guys, and I wish I could do more often. Like I really miss that. And reading this book, I realized how much I missed Spanglish in my everyday communication.
Well, I grew up speaking English. I only know Spanish because I learned it in high school, and then it was my minor in college. So I had to learn to read and write in Spanish. I had to write research papers and essays in Spanish. I would never be able to do that now. But that is the only reason why these things stick out to me, because I have the more technical training. I'm not a native speaker. I'm a native listener. I grew up in a household that spoke purely Spanish, and so that's why I can understand it. But like conjugation and all that kind of stuff doesn't come readily to me. So when I'm speaking, I have to think of it in English and then translate it in my head. And so that takes me quite some time to do. There was a point in time where I had a job where I was working with migrant farm workers, and I was speaking Spanish every day and learning new words every day. And during that time, I started dreaming in Spanish.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
But just like your knees, your language, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yep. And I mean, I still speak in Spanish. Like, I text my boss in Spanglish. Like, I'll be like, Jesus, perdón, I'm on my way. I promise I'm gonna be there in 15 minutos. And then he understands me. He like, cause he when I'm at work, I also speak to him in Spanglish and stuff like that. So for me, I'm just all like just another day in Jen's life.
But my point was actually going to be that my grandmother spoke Spanglish all the time, and she spoke perfect English. She moved here when she was 12, so she was the oldest of 12 children, all of which did not survive, but they all died at various ages. But since she was the oldest, she only was able to complete 8th grade because her family needed her to be at home to help to take care of her siblings and to run the household. So she was in school long enough and just here in the United States long enough to be able to speak perfect English, but she spoke also perfect Spanglish. She was always interjecting English words when she was speaking Spanish, or Spanish words when she was speaking English. I grew up hearing all kinds of Spanglish words, not knowing that they weren't the right proper word until I started taking Spanish classes.
The one that always sticks me out is parquear.
Yes, that's the one that I was gonna say, parquear.
I'm sorry, but I use it. Like, and you know what? Anybody who like only like usually most Spanish speakers know what I'm talking about, unless they're like from Spain.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, I don't want to talk to you anyways.
See, all of my Spanish professors, not all of them, but most of them were Spaniards. And so imagine all that confusion too. And I had to start learning vos and os. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? It was very, very confusing.
Bolígrafo, no gracias. But God, that is so crazy. Because I married Frank and he only speaks Spanish to me. And he is a person who is a big history buff, and he has read books, a lot of books. He's a big reader. So his Spanish is like a more correct, I guess, in a sense. So when I actually type in Spanish, I try to use my accents, and I'd use the upside down exclamation and the upside down question mark. Even when I text my cousin who does mole, she cooks the mole, I always try to do it correctly, because if you don't use it, you lose it. So I'm trying to like do it correctly so I can keep it up. And but I do love my slang. I do. And this book totally just really reminds me of how much I love my slang. The art is amazing, and I can't wait to read the rest of the story. I'm just really invested now. I'm just like, damn you, Henry. Now I need all of them. But yeah, definitely contact your local comic book shop to carry that and put that on your pull list, because it's coming out in October and I'm so excited for it. And I hope he listens to our podcast and tells us more about the choosing to write vato in vato.
He can tell us in person.
I mean, I have to, given what Jen honestly highlighted and that we all already know, he does extensive research. So I have to believe that there's some historical reason why that was chosen. Because there's no way that he, I don't think, is aware of what language was like in Los Angeles amongst the Mexicans. And because, I mean, for all I want to believe, he time traveled back there and he wore his own zoot suit and he experienced it all for himself. That's how freaking like specific and to the point and correct he is with his historical writing. So I loved the book. I'm a big noir fan too. Like in my mind, I just picture the mini blinds and the neon sign flickering behind, and the way that the detective is narrating in the background and everything, and then we do have the woman who he's trying to save, and so it hits all of the trope points that you want if you're a noir fan, but you're getting a heavy dose of Los Angeles culture and history, Mexican culture and history, Mexican language history, apparently.
Chicano history.
Yeah, Chicano history. So much about what racism was like during that time in Los Angeles. And this is only issue freaking 1. So I really am looking forward also to reading the rest of the story because issue number 1 really hit on so many different levels.
Yeah. All I have to say is, you know what? Pasadena hasn't changed.
Right. And there are some points where I have a friend who was involved with gangs in his youth, and just reading Simon, Serio Way, like I just was like, oh my god, that's like my friend talking to me. But that's kind of like Simon, Serio Way, like yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I really really enjoyed reading that because it's a certain way of speaking. Not necessarily all Spanish speakers or English Spanish speakers speak, but there's a certain type of person that is living within like the gangs or like
yes,
that's
and that is what was actually stated here in the book, is that Mexican Chicanos who wore zoot suits often affiliated with gang membership. And a lot of it was just for safety reasons and issues because of all of the rampant racism that was going on during that time. And also wartime was a big thing in that there was a lot of stress and just unrest here in the United States. And so I think that it hits on that level too, is that yes, they were Mexicans, but there's many different cultures, and I'm not just saying nationalities. I'm saying within our Latino culture, there are many different subcultures, and gangs is one of them.
Yep, absolutely. And I one of the things that made me smile was like, yeah, they're just having like a small party for family, but it had like 30 families showed up. Like it's only family, but it's like 30 of them. 30 families of like multiple members of that family. So it pretty much turned into like a 200, 300 people party. But I thought that was so funny because it's actually true. You invite family and it's like, oh my God, just one family household can bring 6 people just in one sitting. Yeah. But are we ready to rate the book?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. What is a rating scale, Kristen?
So we rate our books on a rating scale of 1 to 3 conchas, because 3 was the most that Jen's mom ever let her eat in one sitting. So that was the best. But if a book is off of our concha chart, then we make up our own individualized rating. So I will go ahead and get started. And honestly, this series, again, it's a 5-issue miniseries. This is issue number 1, coming out October 5th. Is such a strong start for this story, and I'm so invested and interested to read more about Los Angeles history and Zoot Suit history and Chicano history, and I'm very invested just in the storyline itself. So for all of those reasons, I am going to give it the whole panaderia.
Oh, absolutely. This first issue had me learning about history, looking up more about history. I actually sent the chat, the Comadres Comics chat, a TikTok that kind of like reflected upon the story that we were just reading. So, I mean, like, I'm already like super invested. So for me, it's the whole panaderia for reals. In serio way. Serio.
Oh my god. This is Jen, and I'm gonna give it also tres conchas and a cup of champurrado. It was really, really good. I can't wait to read what more he has. I really love the LA noir aesthetic being told through this Latino lens. And I'm trying to. It's been a minute since I last took Chicano history. Mostly because for me it has always been tied to Mexican American history, which does tie into like Latino identity in like Los Angeles, but in my mind I've always been like, but I'm not Mexican.
Right.
So it's been a minute. I'm trying to remember if they ever did solve the murder of the young man that from the Sleepy Lagoon case, and I don't think they ever did. I think they arrested people. I think they arrested people for sure. And somebody might have been accused, but it was very doubtful whether he was actually guilty or not. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I think it wasn't resolved. It's been a while, but it did like trigger the events of the Zoot Suit riots, and it's crazy to me also that they call it the Zoot Suit riots, because it wasn't even like the Latinos who were rioting. It was like it was the Navy. It was the goddamn fucking Navy who went in and assaulted people. Like, like let's get that straight. Let's get that. Like, I see you, Navy. I know your history too, and the entire history of the freaking United States Armed Forces, actually. But you know what? That's another.
So just a quick Google search says that 2 days later, after Jose was found dying in the Sleepy Lagoon Reservoir, police arrested 22 Mexican American young men from the 38th Street area on suspicion of murder and conspiracy to kill him. A grand jury indictment followed, charging 24 individuals. Of those, 22 went to trial. This became one of the largest mass trials in California history. The trial, surprise, surprise, was marred by judicial misconduct, racial bias, and sensational media coverage. It resulted in 3 convictions. 3 defendants were found guilty of first-degree murder. 9 were convicted of second degree, and 5 were acquitted. Many of those were sentenced to San Quentin State Prison.
San Quentin? Damn.
In 1944, the California Court of Appeal overturned all convictions. The ruling criticized insufficient evidence, denial of the defendant's right to counsel, and bias exhibited by the trial judge. After 2 years behind bars, the defendants were released and the charges were not retried. I bet there was not one fucking brown person involved in his murder.
Oh, 100%.
Exactly.
100%, yeah.
So the answer to the question is yes and no.
Incredible.
And that has been our book review. All right, right, guys, now it's time for Juntos y Fuertes. Kristen, what do you have for us today?
Today, I have for all of you in the LA area. Sorry for those of you who listen who aren't local, but these things come up on my radar a lot more often than other. I tried to spread it out, but this is Hola Mexico Film Festival presented by Toyota. It's happening in Los Angeles from September 12th through September 20th. And if you go to Hola Mexico FF, so Film Festival stands for, .com, you will find their festival guide. This is their 17th edition of the film festival, and they're going to have a spectacular opening night premiere at the historic Montalbán Theater, which is a very cool theater. I've been there a few times over this last year with different shows that they put on there. They do live stage, they do movies. It's really cool. It's a very nice historic theater owned by Ricardo Montalbán and now his family. If you don't know who that is, you're probably not my age, but he was the actor. He was a very, very, very handsome actor in his young days. My grandmother had wet chonies for him all the time. She forced me to watch Fantasy Island because of him. He is the actor who basically was the main guy in Fantasy Island, which was a TV show that came on at like 10 o'clock at night in the 80s.
Wasn't he also the original Klingon back in the 70s?
I don't know the answer to that.
I gotta look that up now because I feel like it was.
So he's Latino. I don't know if he's Mexican, but he's Latino. And it says, from bold new voices to acclaimed directors redefining storytelling, celebrate the start of 9 days of showcasing the very best in Mexican cinema. And the reason why this came up on my radar is because part of the festival is going to be a showing of a Batman Azteca, Choque de Imperios. So,
Choque de Imperios, way, yes.
Yes. So this is animated movie set in the Aztec Empire on the brink of Spanish conquest. Batman Azteca reimagines the Dark Knight as Yohualicotil, a young man fueled by grief and driven by justice. After witnessing his father's murder by conquistadors, he transforms himself to defend his people. Merging indigenous myth with modern legend, this animated epic offers a radical retelling of the Batman mythos. With rich visuals and bold political subtext, it asks, what does justice look like in the face of empire? So you can watch that on 2 different nights. On Thursday, September 18th, it'll be showing at the Regal Cinemas at the LA Live location. And then on Friday, September 19th, it'll be playing at the Milagro Cinemas in Norwalk. What? And you can buy your tickets through the HolaMexicoFF.com website.
Nice.
And just to answer your question, Ricardo Montalbán was born in Mexico City.
Okay.
In la Ciudad de Mexico. And also he is where the original soundbite, Khan!
Oh, yes, he was Khan from Star Trek. Yes, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hey, he killed it.
He killed it, yeah. Yes, and he handsome man. Oh my god.
Yes.
Ricardo Montalbán. Let's see. I gotta get a t-shirt with his face on it. I need it. But
unfortunately, Batman Azteca won't be at that theater, but it's very much worth it to go to that theater if there's any events that interest you. Even maybe catching some of these movies. I on the schedule, I looked down the movies, and there's many that sound so interesting and cool and very artsy. So if you are a fan of art house style film, definitely think you'll be able to find something during this film festival.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. I can't wait. I'm definitely going to try to watch it on the Friday. Norwalk is really close to Compton, so I'm going to get my tickets ahead of time. I don't know if you want to join me, Kristen.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be cool. Ooh,
I actually think it's cool to I never heard of this theater before. So when I looked at pictures of it, like things are in Spanish inside and stuff, and so I think it would be actually cool to just visit and support what I'm assuming is Latino owned business.
What was the theater name again?
Milagro Cinemas.
I think
In
I've been there
Norwalk.
before. It is, and they have a really great food menu. By the way, they have like street. They have street elote. They also have the street, the LA street hot dog.
Are you serious?
Yes, I am serious. And they have other stuff with like, excuse me,
I haven't
with
had a
hot Cheeto kind of thing.
I haven't had a bacon wrapped hot dog in ages. Once they started charging $10 for them, I stopped.
Oh, I know. I plan to have multiple at LA Comic Con next month.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice. Hopefully, yeah. I'm just like here. They're just oh my god. It literally burns me. Like I can't do it. I can't as much. Like I'll fucking make my own. I don't know, but I just can't pay $10 for. Not when I remember paying $1.25 for them.
$1.25.
Oh, I remember those days.
I think the cheapest I've ever paid is $3. And you want to know the irony of that? It was out front of San Diego Comic Con. There was a little cart that was across the street in that little like area where sometimes there's installations and stuff. And I was so hungry, and I'm like, how much are your hot dogs? And they're like $3. And I told Eddie, I'm like, this person needs to up their prices. This I bought one, but I'm like $3. You could charge literally $10 here and get it.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I'm looking at it online, and yes, Milagros is the one that has the really great entree menu is amazing and delicious. So I've only been there once. I went to see Beetlejuice, and then they have a little tray that you can pop out at your seat to put your food on.
Oh, cool.
It's super cool.
I also looked at their website at just their upcoming calendar of events, and they have different theme nights throughout the week. They have like rom-com night. They have vintage night where they're playing E.T. and like vintage movies from my childhood. But then also like artsy stuff. And so I've just, like I said, it's the first time I ever heard of it. I would be willing to drive to Norwalk to support that business.
Yes, and come with your hunger, because along the way there's other really great Mexican food spots. So yes, absolutely. I remember that really clearly. But yeah, no, they do have a really great menu, and they also serve beer.
Oh, nice.
I didn't get a beer because I wanted an icy, because whenever I go to the movies, it's my only reason to get an icy.
Yeah.
So like, but no, it's really, really good. Really, I had the street dog, and they actually torearon a jalapeno, and it was so good. So with my street dog, oh my god, girl,
Yeah.
Delicious. All right, guys, now it's time for saludos. And saludos goes out today to Beer Thug Brewing Company. And I know I've shouted them out before, but it's so exciting because they are actually partnering up with Boulevard Pub that is here in Compton. I've been there 2 times, and I took my husband the second time, and he absolutely loved it. The food is amazing, and they have Le Chouf on tap. which not anywhere do you find Le Chouffe, let me tell you.
Unless you're at an actual Belgian bar, which there's one in Pasadena, and they had every single tap on tap was Belgian, and they had Le Chouffe there.
Nice.
But you have to go to a themed pub, or else you would never find it.
Exactly, and they have it on tap. It's amazing. It's definitely try to go there if you're in the area. It's Boulevard Gastropub, and it's East Compton. And if you go outside, it looks like it's abandoned. It's really not. The whole block looks abandoned and kind of like iffy, and you don't want to park your car because it might get broken into. Like it's that kind of vibe, right? But when you go into the gastropub, my God, it's like going into it's like going through the wardrobe in Narnia. It's so beautiful.
That's how I felt when, what was that place that was called the Carriage Place, the brewery, something Carriage?
Oh, yes,
the Phantom Carriage.
Phantom Carriage, yes. That's how I felt going to Phantom Carriage.
Oh, 100%. Everything was like industrial outside.
Yeah.
You go in there and it's like Narnia.
You know, I'm so
Narnia
sad that
Resort.
they never reopened. That was such a vibe in there, and their food was so good
great.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The beer was
Remember.
great.
Yeah. The food was really, really good. Anyway, Beer Thug Brewing Company and Boulevard Gastropub are joining forces to open a tap room in Compton. Well, it's actually on the border of Gardena, Carson, and Compton. It's on Main and Alondra Boulevard, and I can't wait till they open. They're actually working on it right now to get it fixed up and everything, getting everything in order for them to open. So I'm super excited. I can't wait to service my bicycle so I can ride my bike over there. And have a couple of beers. So
I just also want to highlight the importance of why we are talking about Beer Thug Life and how important it is for them to be opening in Compton. He is from Compton. He and his wife live in Compton. But the craft brew community is just like the comic book community, is highly, highly, what I want to say, not owned by, but run by white men. That's why it was so amazing when we met the owner of what was 1877 or whatever up in Modesto,
1842, something like that.
that was woman owned, and she went and got her degree in brewing at UC Davis, and her beer was amazing. But it's also why SoCal Cerveceros group is really important too, because it is providing entry without barriers to people of color into the craft brew community. And additionally, opening in Compton, which is widely known as a community here in Los Angeles County that is mostly inhabited by Black and brown families and people, is amazing because, again, it's creating access to an industry that has mostly been reserved for white men. So just think about that kind of stuff, you know, when we talk about it, that it's not just because we love beer, although we do.
it's 1870 company, a brewing company.
1870
in Modesto,
Yeah.
a woman-owned brewery that we have partaked and enjoyed very much. So, but yeah, that's one of the reasons we're highlighting them. But also, we really enjoy Beer Thug's brews that we've had on the show before as well. So shout out to them. Saludos goes out to them both. I can't wait till you guys open. I'm like counting down, hopefully soon. Maybe, I don't know, in the winter. It's gonna be great. But saludos goes out to you guys. Thank you so much. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of this episode. Kristen, where can they find us?
You can find us at www.comadrescomics.com, our very own website, where you can find all of the links to our social media pages. You can also watch our I always want to say issues. Our episodes, you can watch our episodes on YouTube, where if you're watching this one right now, you see that I'm still in my pajamas because we started recording at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I rolled out of bed and like hopped on here. I'm wearing my pajamas right now.
Yeah. So, and then definitely you can email us at comadresycomics@gmail.com. Be sure to rate and review all of our episodes on YouTube, on Spotify. You can even leave messages on both YouTube and Spotify. And I'm trying to be better about seeing them and responding. I don't see the Spotify ones because I don't log into Spotify, but I do see the YouTube ones. So, definitely reach out. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes. Again, thank you so much for sharing this time with us. We really appreciate it. For all the people we met at, it was the Carnegie Comics Collective.
Mm-hmm.
We really had a great time. We had a wonderful time speaking to everybody about comics, everybody who came to our table and chatted with us. Thank you so much for taking the time. For all our listeners out there, thank you for having us in your lives 1.5 hours at a time. Thank you very, very much. We really appreciate it. We wouldn't be here without you. And just so you guys know, we're going to be celebrating our 10-year anniversary in 2026. So I'm very excited about that. Keep an ear out about that because I'm really hoping we can host a very big, large party, and you guys are welcome to come. But as far as I know, once we continue planning with that, I'll let you guys know more of details about that. Thank you so much for listening. We have been your hosts. I'm Sarah.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jen.
Bye.